Here we'll be converting from one metric unit into another, sometimes using metric prefixes and sometimes not. The units in these four questions are pretty standard. We're talking about meters to kilometers. So again, the base unit is meters. We're going from just the base unit to kilometers. We're dealing with grams in the second question, liters in the next one, and meters per hour, either as kilometers per hour or meters per hour, in the last question. But what applies to these base units applies to any base unit you can think of, be that watts or pascals, seconds. All that matters here is that we're having a look at the metric prefix. In the first question, we're asked to convert 1,350 meters into the units of kilometers. So we're going from the base unit. If there's no prefix, the unit is simply, the base unit is 10 to the power of 0, which is 1, right? 10 to the power of 0 is 1. So we're going from 10 to the power of 0 to kilo. And kilo is 10 to the power of 3. So we're moving from a unit of 1 to a unit of 1,000. Let's have a look at our table. Go back to our example. We're going from base unit to kilo, a smaller unit to a large unit. So while right now we have 1,350 of the thing we're measuring, in this case meters, we're going to have fewer of those as we go to kilometers. So that means I'm going to write a number, an answer that is smaller than 1,350. How much smaller? Well, that depends on how big our jump is. We're going from 10 to the power of 0 to 10 to the power of 3. From 0 to 3 is 1, 2, 3 steps. So that means I'm changing my units by 3 factors of 10. So that means I'm going to pick up the decimal place and move it 3 spots. And I'm going to move it in a direction that makes my number smaller. If my decimal is sitting right there, so I have 1,350. Here's my decimal place. As I move into kilometers, the larger unit, I'm moving it 1, 2, 3 spots to give me 1.350 kilometers. Let's try another one. Here we're looking at the base unit of grams, and we're moving from kilograms. Kilo is 10 to the power of positive 3. I'm looking at my chart for this. To milligrams, and milli is 10 to the power of negative 3. So this time we're moving from kilograms all the way down to milligrams. So we're moving down the table. So in this case, we're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, a larger number in the smaller unit. How do I turn this into a larger number? I multiply by factors of 10. This time I'm moving the decimal place to the right. But how far are you moving it? Well, if you're going from 10 to the power of positive 3 to 10 to the power of negative 3, you're going from 3 down to 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. In other words, I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. I'm changing my number by 6 factors of 10, which means I'm going to move my decimal place 6 spots. All right, our original number is 0.000252, and that is a value in kilograms. I said we were going to move our decimal place 6 spots. Let's do that now. I'm going to move it to the right again because we're going to a smaller unit, so we will have more of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, we don't have more grams. It's just that we have more milligrams. And our new number, therefore, this is going to be equal to 252 milligrams. Why would we change the metric prefix? Well, in this case, milligrams is a much more reasonable way to quote how much we've got. It's harder for us to grasp what 0.000252 kilograms would look like, but 252 milligrams probably means a fair bit more to us. Milligrams probably isn't the perfect unit here either. grams is probably the best way to go. So which metric prefix you use is definitely going to be situation dependent. So our third question, here's another situation where we're really not in the best units. In this case, we're in milliliters. We have 0.000160 milliliters. That's an awfully small number of milliliters. Of course, milli we know is 10 to the power of -3. And we're asked to convert this into a measure of microliters. If you're not familiar with this prefix, remember to look at your table. Micro stands for 10 to the power of -6. So we're going from -3 through -4, -5, -6. We're going 1, 2, 3 steps, again, down our table. So we're going to have more microliters than we had milliliters. The same way we have more milligrams, we have 252 milligrams, compared to our amount in kilograms, 0.000252 kilograms. Okay, so the way I set this question up gave us an idea that maybe it would be useful to move the decimal point, and that is the case here. So we're moving it 3 steps to the right. We're changing this number by 3 factors of 10 to get a measure in microliters. So from 0.000160 milliliters, we're going to move our decimal place 3 spots, and here we get 0.160 microliters. We have more microliters than we had milliliters. And finally, I wanted to look at a unit that has a numerator and a denominator. We're asked to go from 72 kilometers per hour, kilometers more correctly, kilometers per hour, into meters per hour. What I noticed, though, is that only the numerator changes. So I don't have to worry about the denominator. I'm only worried about the change going from kilometers to meters. So for a kilo, we know we have 10 to the power of 3. And now we're in the base unit, just meters. So we're going to 10 to the power of 0. Right, so 10 to the power of 3, 2, 1, 0. We're moving 1, 2, 3 steps. Essentially 3 steps in the opposite direction from what we did in our first question, where we looked at 1,350 meters and converted it to kilometers. Okay, so in this case, it doesn't make nearly as much sense. But let's rewrite this in meters per hours anyway. So I have 72.0 kilometers per hour. And I want to make sure that I move my decimal place 3 spots. So I'm going to have to rewrite my number. I tend to give extra zeros just so I have somewhere to land with my decimal place. And I'm moving 1, 2, 3 spots to the right, once again because I'm going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So I'm going to have more of that smaller unit. So that gives us 72,000 meters per hour.